Welcome everyone to a very special edition of HBCU Sports Live. Needless to say, Kendrick Marshall was a very happy man. Decided to get
Yes,
all
fired up. J State fired up, baby. 11-9, Ken Rashad said. 11-9 said the score was going to be.
I did not say that.
He did say the score was 11. All right.
I said, I go back and listen to the tape. I said I said Jackson would win. It probably would be close. However, I said that if Southern would win, it would be very close. So I wasn't wrong. I'll admit. I kind of hedged my bets and I stayed in the middle of the fence. Now, ask me if I really care. But, you know, we're trying to be professional here. Trying to be professional. Anyway, congratulations to the Jackson State Tigers. They are the 2024 SWAC football champions. And I'm guessing by now they've probably received the invite from Executive Director John Grant of the Celebration Bowl.
In the third quarter, he gave it to him. It was in the third quarter he went out there.
to give them the invite, the official invite to the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta to face South Carolina State next Saturday, December 14th. So, gentlemen, your thoughts on the game? I guess, Kendrick, we'll start with you, sir, since you said that John Grant gave them that invitation. I didn't see that. But I guess you're referring to the fact that this game was over in the third quarter, right?
Yeah, I mean, after Zion McDonald came in the game and led JSU on that touchdown drive at the end of the first half, the tide changed, and that State ended up scoring, the next 24 points until Southern kicked a field goal, was capped off a 38-3 run with him in the football game. I mean, the first couple of drives looked really dicey for Jackson State. They did move the ball some, but had to settle for a field goal on their second drive. And then Jacoby Morgan got hurt. He turned an ankle apparently, and didn't play the rest of the game. His status for the Celebration Bowl unknown for right now. But Zion McDonald, third string quarterback, only played 6 games during the regular season. Came in there, he gained 59 yards on that first drive that capped off an 84-yard touchdown scoring drive for the Tigers. He did it with his arms and his legs. In the defense, as we all talked about all year long, they shut down Southern after that touchdown by T-Set they got in the start of the second quarter. I mean, Frederick, the offensive coordinator for Southern, found a little game plan. He spread the defense out. He had T-Set running in those holes opened up by the offense being so spread out. But then the second half, they couldn't do very much anything. They went through Noah Bodden, the quarterback, who gave them nothing. And Jackson State was able to roll after that to an easy win going back to Atlanta.
Chris, what are your thoughts?
T.C. Taylor absolutely earned SWAC Coach of the Year. Make no mistake about it. Because you have to be prepared in any circumstance. And I'll never forget when Isaiah Spencer, the wide receiver, had a hot mic moment for one of the local TV guys. He said, "Don't give that guy right there 2 weeks to prepare for a game. You're never going to win." How many weeks did Jackson State have to prepare for Southern? 2. And so here they are, 41-13 winners, and they're going to the Celebration Bowl. And credit to that young man, Zion McDonald. Like, I did not know he was on the roster until he showed up for that, after Morgan got hurt. So I was like, okay, they'll put McCoy in now. But then like, who's that little guy? And that little guy turned out to be I guess if there's a SWAC championship game MVP, he would be the winner of it because he played a phenomenal game at quarterback. And Southern just made too many boneheaded errors. Like, there were targeting penalties, late hits, failures to line up. Late in the fourth quarter middle of the fourth quarter when they still had a chance to make it close, Kendrick Rhymes, for some unknown reason, decided to jump at a punt and missed it entirely. And Jackson State recovered the ball and went ahead and scored the touchdown to put them up 21 points, and that was the end of the ball game. So, just a bunch of stuff that disciplined teams don't do. And that's not a knock on Terrence Graves because, no one else is going to get that Southern team that far this year like Terrence Graves has, but they just forgot what got them there. And to Jackson State's credit, they played a whale of a ball game. They had home field advantage. They had, they had the sonic boom behind them. It was a great ball game for them. And as you can see by my subhead, it is what's best for business in Jackson State and South Carolina State in the
You're fading out.
fading out.
Yeah, you were.
Where did I leave off?
Did you guys hear him, or is that just me?
Kendrick, you on mute.
Okay, so you're good, Chris. You're good.
I'm sorry. But yeah, just kudos to Jackson State, for playing a whale of a ball game. They had the sonic boom. They had the home field advantage. It was tough for Southern to come in there and win that game. They had to play a near perfect ball game, and quite frankly, they did not do it. So that's the result that we have.
Jared Hoffman, your thoughts?
The most simple thing you could say about it is Southern couldn't stop the run. Irv Mulligan got free on multiple plays. Like you guys have said, Zy McDonald, when he came into the game, he was able to get whatever he wanted. There were some plays where the offensive line, inconceivably let Kelby Givens go free, without anybody touching him. Didn't make sense. Some blocking coverages didn't make sense to me, but it didn't cost him at all. It was one play out of a million, but yeah, the simplest thing you could say is that Southern could not stop the run whatsoever. There were a lot of throws by Southern that were kind of head scratchers, guys double covered, triple covered, didn't make sense. The certain passes that the quarterbacks decided to throw, I didn't know what they were seeing, but the biggest takeaway that I have is Travis Terrell Jr., if he stays at Jackson State, he will not only win the Deacon Jones Trophy, he could be the first person from an HBCU to win the Walter Payton Award in decades. He is that much of a star. He is an all-purpose back who can make an impact anywhere he is put. Put him in the backfield, he'll make an impact. You put him out and ask him to run a wheel, he'll make some big plays in the passing game. He's a big guy on kick return and punt return. He can make an impact anywhere he is put on offense or on special teams. Like, he is an all-purpose back that could be the future of HBCU football. He is a superstar on the rise, and Jackson State better hold on to him as tight as they can, because he is the potential future of HBCU football. But the biggest reason why Southern lost this game is because they could not do anything with Jackson State in the run game.
So there were a lot of interesting dynamics. So let me. I'm interested. Southern had an early lead in this game, and at one point, I'm not going to say that they never came across as being dominant, but they did at one point, to me, appear to be very, very confident. Was there ever any reason to doubt this? Did any of you ever think that this could possibly go or get ugly down the stretch, especially midway through the second quarter?
I mean, like, for me, go ahead, Chris.
Sorry. Football is a 60-minute game. And as great as Southern has been, for the most part, we still knew that this Jackson State team has had a history this year of falling behind early and then just coming back and just snatching the team's heart in the final 2-3 quarters or what have you. So I always felt that Southern was going to that Jackson State was going to be able to come back. Southern got off to a great start, but the question was going to be, could they sustain it? And like I said, just the boneheaded stuff that they ended up doing throughout the course of the ball games. Like, no, they're just not ready for this environment as of yet. Winning the division and getting here is good for them, but Jackson State, I said 31-21 on Wednesday because I thought, Jackson might, kind of sleepwalk into that game, and they did sleepwalk for the first quarter and a half, but then after that, they just, turned the light on, turned the switch, and that was it. So, Jackson, there was never a doubt in my mind that Jackson State was going to come back and win that game. Well,
let me ask this, because one of the things that I noticed, and I think was pointed out early on, was, the absence of Jalen Woods, who unfortunately didn't pass concussion protocol from the game last week, and they went with T-Sant. And look, this is all over, and I think no one's really surprised by the outcome. But might this have been a different game? Not a better game, but a different game had Woods started or was able to play.
I don't think so. Tim, because like as Chris alluded to, Southern had a hard time stopping the run and had a hard time blocking the Jackson State defensive front. It didn't matter who was going to be a quarterback. If they had those two issues on their team, it was going to be hard for them to score. But like coming into the ball game, I kind of thought like Southern have a difficult time sustaining consistent offense. And despite the good start they got up to, Southern really didn't beat Jackson State in the air. Most of their big gains in the first half was them running the ball, particularly by T-Set, who was able to take advantage of them spreading out the Jackson defense and taking advantage of those wide open lanes he was getting. But like after that, like you saw, like when Jackson State tied the game and they eventually took the lead, like they really couldn't do anything on offense because if they didn't get anything on the ground, they were not going to be able to move the ball effectively. And T-Set, while he's a developing quarterback, isn't going to go throw the football. And we saw they brought in Noah Biden late in the game to try to get something going, and he wasn't very consistent either. He went like 1 of 8 for like 20 yards, 2 interceptions. So if they couldn't run the football in Jackson State, they would not have a chance to score. And so it didn't surprise me at all, like the outcome of the game. And I think like having another freshman quarterback in the football game against that defense, playing on the road in a game that big, I just didn't see how Southern was going to win either way.
And just that's something that Terrence Graves is going to have to address in the offseason is going to be the quarterback thing. Also, Kendrick, by the way, it was Jared that said that Southern had trouble with the run. But
oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's something that Terrence Graves is seriously going to have to address because, I mean, we're not talking down on these young men, but we are journalists. We are paid to critique. We are paid to observe and give our thoughts. And I didn't see anything from Biden or T-Set because I didn't get a chance to see Woods in the Bayou last week, but I didn't see anything from those two quarterbacks that lended themselves to being starters in 2025. It just doesn't curl over for me. So hopefully that's something that Coach Graves will address this offseason in terms of getting the guy, in the quarterback. And anybody who's seen Woods play would know better than I have, but neither one of those young men really just seemed like they were ready for the task at hand. I mean, Biden, that last drive where he just literally just spiked the ball and didn't think that he was going to get an intentional grounding. It was like Stevie Wonder was going to call that. Like you literally just like, bam. It's like, okay. And then he throws an interception after that. So credit to Southern for getting this far, but if they're going to get any further, they need to figure out the quarterback room quickly.
So, gentlemen, I know it may be a little early for a preview, but now that we know who the teams are that will be participating in the Celebration Bowl, what are your early pregame thoughts about the matchup? Jared.
Well, there's a couple of matchups I'm looking forward to. One is Eric Phoenix versus the Jackson State secondary. I think that we saw in this game that Jackson State secondary has the ability to be game changing. You had 3 interceptions in this game, 2 or 3 interceptions in this game. They've been ball hawks all year, and Eric Phoenix has been arguably the best quarterback in HBCU football outside of maybe David Wright, the third. So I think that that'll be a key. Oh, Lord have mercy.
She's here.
You said it was going to be a shutout, though, so you wasn't exactly right, but you definitely was right about the dominant part. But anyway, that's one matchup I'm looking for. I'm looking for South Carolina State's defensive line against the running game of Jackson State. I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to shut down Irv Mulligan, Jaden Brogdon, Aaron Miller, and those guys, if they're going to be able to limit the running game of Jackson State. And I'm curious to see who Jackson State is going to start at quarterback. Obviously they had their regular starter go down. Zy McDonald came in and was a game changer for them. Do they stick with what they've gone with all season, or do they go with the hot hand? I'm curious to see what they do, with that. But those are kind of the matchups that I'm looking forward to seeing in the Celebration Bowl.
I think obviously a lot of that is going to probably have to do with just how injured, how serious, if there is any, how injured Jacobian is at this point. I mean, was there any reason to think that was a serious injury? What did TC say was the issue with the injury?
Yeah, he said he was asked about it at halftime by the ESPN sideline reporter, and TC said that Jacobian got rolled up on that last pass he threw, and that he turned his ankle. He didn't say like the severity of the injury. That's going to be obviously evaluated after the game is over in the week leading up to the Celebration Bowl. But he didn't come back in the game even after Zay McDonald went out. So that let me know that like he wasn't going to play for the rest of the night, and the game was still relatively close then. So the question is going to be who's going to be quarterback for JSU if McDonald, who also had to lead the game twice,
right,
because of either injury or cramping, we don't know just yet. So we're going to find out who's going to be the quarterback for that state probably later on in the week, maybe right before the game starts. So TC is definitely going to leave that up for grabs right up until game time, I think, just to let South Carolina State sweat it out a little bit.
Tamona, if you're there, I provided you with a link. If you want to come on in. We got room for you.
Yeah. I think it is interesting because the last time we did see Eric Phoenix, he was in a boot. So I am curious to see if he's had enough time to heal, because he last played in the Morgan State game, which was 3 going on 4 weeks ago. So is it a 3-week injury? Is it a 4-week injury, or is it a 6 to 8 week injury? So that even though Ryan, even if they do have to go to Ryan Stubblefield had played phenomenally those last 2 ball games. So we might be looking at a matchup of backup quarterbacks, but at the same time, both of these backup quarterbacks have proven to be pretty doggone good. So it may not be star power, but it's still going to be pretty solid football. But if Phoenix does show up, then that is going to be a matchup, like Jared said, that's going to be really curious against that no-fly zone J State secondary. So we've got a lot, and we got a full week to discuss it. I'm excited about it. I mean, as a MEAC guy, of course, my conference is one about just about all of these Celebration Bowls except for one. But we're excited to see
for two.
Got to play devil's advocate. Except
oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Florida A&M is in the SWAC now. Barely. But yes. So yeah, we've won all but 2 Celebration Bowls. So I'm very excited to see what Chennisberry and South Carolina State does. And I'm absolutely thrilled for TC Taylor, who should have been the head coach years ago. But he's got his turn now. He's got his squad, and this is going to be a very, very interesting match. I'm very looking forward to seeing this replay of the 2021 Celebration Bowl.
And I think the thing that helps that no matter who's at quarterback, both teams have a lot of talent at the skill position on offense. Caden High on South Carolina State. You have DeAndre Duhart in the backfield. And then Jackson State has obviously Travis Terrell Jr. He has Irv Mulligan. They have a lot of talent to work with. So if either team has to go to their backup or third string quarterbacks, they have a lot of skill position players that they can go to that can aid the process and make it a little bit of smoother transition going forward.
Okay. So with all that said, we're going to add to the stage. Oh boy.
Hello.
She loves thee.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. So I just want to thank you guys for inviting me on the other night. It was so good to be able to go on another platform and speak my piece. I will say this. One of the things that I highlighted the other day was that Southern moving the ball predicated on penalties and mistakes, and the ability for Southern to move the ball. Penalties is going to be a factor. And what did we see in this particular game? Penalties was a factor in Southern being able to move that ball. Now, I did say that it was going to be a shutout unless there's some type of dropped coverage. I know I said those words, and that's what happened. I will say this. When our defensive coordinator said that it was the same team and that he had no worries whatsoever, as you can see, the first game, they scored 15 points. this particular game, they scored 13 points. Last game, we scored 33 points. This game, we scored 41. And it would have been 48 if Janelle Dupree did not drop that touchdown pass. So, you know, I'm thank you guys for inviting me because I had a lot of fun during that live.
You are certainly welcome. So let me ask you this, Timona. Given the matchup now, you did call it. You said it would be Jackson State and South Carolina State. It is Jackson State and South Carolina State. So before you leave, give us your initial thoughts on the matchup and what we can possibly expect on next Saturday.
So I haven't been able to do a lot of deep diving into South Carolina State in terms of the X's and O's on their defense. Me and Kobe will have a live next week where we take a look at, you know, best players on each team. I will say this, Eric Phoenix is definitely a dart. Like, he is one of one. He's been at the championship stage, even though it was D2. He still has been in championship games before. He has the experience, which is one of the things I highlighted about Southern is that their quarterbacks are not as experienced. And then Noah Bodden, I didn't even know that he's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns this year. But, you know, that was a stat that was placed on that he has thrown more interceptions this year than touchdowns. I'm interested in this matchup because yesterday I found out that when it comes to rush defense, I want to say in the FCS, South Carolina State and Jackson State are neck and neck. South Carolina State is 19. Jackson State game.
Okay. Timona, you
Got to see it today, which is another summer.
Okay. Okay. I take it you're driving. Yeah, you're I guess you're in cell hell right now. So you're kind of muffled.
Okay.
But well, you're better now. Go ahead and finish.
Can you hear? Oh, okay.
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I just was gonna say our ace in the hole is our quarterback room is stacked like library books, and you got to see it tonight. So it'll be interesting to see what TC decides for our matchup against South Carolina State. We only have 3 days to get it really fixed and get patched up. But like I said the other day, I'll be in Atlanta.
Okay. All right. Timona, you're cutting out, lady. But look, I appreciate you taking a moment to give your thoughts on the game. Congratulations. You did call it. And we will, if possible, see if we can work something out to look, I still owe you an appearance. So, you know, we'll definitely make that happen. But thank you for your time once again, and we'll see you real soon. All right. She's going through cell hell, guys. Okay. So
real quick, Ken.
Go ahead.
Do we really have to address that?
I'm gonna address it because if you're gonna come on here and say something stupid, at least have backup. That's all I got. We're professional journalists. I mean, we are talking about this game from a objective standpoint. If you feel like we're disappointed, if you want an amen corner, this ain't the place for you. But if you're gonna say something stupid, then yes, I am gonna call you out on it. That's all I got.
Well, I will say that Ken Rashad is excited internally that Jackson State won this football game because he called me on Thursday. Was like, Kendrick, I'm hoping Jackson State wins. Please don't let them lose. I'm like, I can control that. But but Ken Rashad is Mr. SWAC. He's the Mac of the SWAC, regardless of anybody say. And he really feels like the best team from the SWAC should represent the conference in the Celebration Bowl. And this year, obviously, is Jackson State. Yep. So he begged and pleaded with me to tell TC Taylor, my good friend TC Taylor, to send a message to the boys to get it done on Saturday. and they got it done on Saturday. So he's ecstatic. He might not show it on the outside,
But did I
best
beg?
believe me, on the inside, he is pumping his fist like, yes, it's gonna be a good game this time. No blowouts.
Okay. So I don't know if I beg and pleaded, but do know, yes, I look. You guys know, last time we were on, I said, look, I made it very clear without actually saying it. I said, look, I want the best team to go. Okay. Clearly, Jackson State was the better team. All right. I did not want the SWAC championship game to be one of those games where, Southern, we got it. We got you. Because I'm telling you, I've made this argument before about the MEAC. And the fact that some coaches say it's not a big deal, I personally think it is, especially this year, because the SWAC used to have 2 weeks to prepare for this game. Mm-hmm. And it bothers me a little bit that, J-State has two quarterbacks that, we don't know what happened with either one, but, we don't know the status. But if nothing else, we would know that, okay, at the very least, they've got 2 weeks to prepare. That ain't the case this year because of the damn football playoff
expansion. Yeah.
Okay. So believe me when I tell you, I'm a SWAC guy, and whoever represents the SWAC, I tend to root for, but still, because I'm, as Chris stated, I'm tired of losing this damn game.
I mean, they won it. The SWAC won it last year.
Well, yeah, but okay, full disclosure, it didn't feel right. Because
what are you talking about? Didn't feel right.
Well, I'm saying FAMU still has MEAC residue.
Not the residue.
They still got MEAC residue. So I mean, granted, yeah, the SWAC gets credit for it, but FAMU still got that MEAC residue. So they got to be in it a little bit.
He's saying my conference got some grime to it. Like
J-State is. We got credit for the win last year, but I'm just saying, that's not me hating on peas and carrots over there. I'm not. Look, fam, you won it. I'm just simply saying. Okay, so real quick, and I'm gonna have to step away real quick. I got a little issue I got to take care of. I am interested for Jared. Did you get a chance to see the game between Valdosta and Virginia Union?
Of course I did.
Can you provide us some thoughts on that? Kendrick, I'm gonna need you to take over real quick. I got to step away.
All right, cool.
All right.
Go ahead, Jared.
Hold on a second. I need to see if I have a belt around here because it was belt to behind from start to finish.
Of course, Timona said it in the chat.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's talking about Jackson State, but Virginia Union unfortunately did not have the necessary firepower to deal with Valdosta State from start to finish. It was a demolition job by them. So props to Valdosta. They played very well. The running game it was solid, but it wasn't to the standard of what we saw last week. And that's a once in a lifetime performance last week. So obviously you weren't going to get that, but you were expecting to see something along the lines of what we saw last week, and we just didn't get it at all. The passing game was non-existent, and I said that there has to be two dimensions to your offense in order to have success against Valdosta State. And unfortunately for RJ Rosales, his lack of reps throughout the season caught up to him, and he wasn't able to have the impact like he did in the fourth quarter in the overtime period against Wingate, and like he did last week against Lenore Ryan. So props to Valdosta State. Their head coach Tremaine Jackson is going to get a lot of looks. There's a lot of people saying that he should go to PV, and he has a lot of Texas ties. Obviously, is a former Texas Southern player. He was a head coach. It's not a head coach. He was an assistant coach for Texas Southern when they won their now vacant SWAC championship in 2010. He has coached at the high school and college level for numerous years. in the state of Texas. So it would not be surprising to see Prairie View A&M make a call to him to get him on their sidelines, because he took this team from a 5-6 in his first season to looking like a national champion in his third season. And yeah, this was an incredible performance by them. But this does not taint the Virginia Union season. Still spectacular. The first team to make it to the regional final since Bowie State in 2021. You know, what was it, the sixth team to do it since 2010. So they have nothing to be ashamed of. Jada Byers is going to get some looks from NFL, CFL, UFL teams. You know, hopefully he plays well in the HBCU Legacy Bowl and continues to build that momentum. Curtis Allen, should he choose to stay at Virginia Union, he will have the reins, and I expect him to have a breakout year next year. RJ Rosales, hopefully he's penciled in as the team starter next season, unless he doesn't have eligibility left. And this defense, you know, we talked a lot about this offense all season, but we got to start giving this defense a lot of love, because that Virginia Union defense played it lights out all season and didn't get a lot of credit for it, because they were playing second fiddle to Jada Byers in that offense. So incredible season by Virginia Union. Congratulations. You know, the Bowie State of me is hurting to say that, but hey, I got to give credit where credit is due.
I don't know where we were. So
Jared was recapping the unfortunate events in Valdosta, Georgia today.
So didn't someone, and forgive me if this was already discussed, but didn't someone, was it you, Jared? You said folks at Valdosta was kind of like.
No, that was Chris. I didn't see what he was talking about.
Chris. You said that you heard them say something along the lines like we own HBCUs or something like that.
Yeah. Steve Gaither, of course, who runs HBCU Game Day, said on his personal Twitter feed, he said, one thing about HBCUs, we all hate Valdosta State. So a bunch of Valdosta State alumni was quote tweeting his stuff saying, we own HBCUs. And to me, if and this is something that we have talked about, you know, amongst ourselves in the chat, but if you're begging to join an HBCU conference, who owns who? I mean, your conference is going to bite the dust after this academic year. So, but y'all talking about, we want to join the SIAC. So let's be real about it. Who owns who? And for you as Black people to say something about ownership and that part of Georgia,
that's
great. Be serious. Be serious be serious for once in your life. But you know, I mean, they're a great program. We're not taking anything away from them, but this is an HBCU centric program, and we love Virginia Union. I mean, they played phenomenally. Dr. Alvin Parker said it himself earlier this year. He said he felt like he had a national championship level team, and folks were laughing at him. Well, he was only a couple games away from getting there, so I mean, he wasn't wrong completely. He just ran into a buzzsaw. But Virginia Union deserves a ton of credit for getting this far, and if they can continue to build and make this thing great, you know, be a CIAA contender, and you know, get this stuff up, you know, continue to build a stronger program, then they'll be in good shape. But yeah, right now that was just a tough way to end the season. I mean, that Valdosta State team is just like, it's like Ken said, damn, we got Valdosta. And
yeah.
Valdosta took care of business.
I want to say, remember when ESPN, when College Game Day went to Jackson?
In Valdosta State.
Wasn't Valdosta State like they had the cheerleaders? And I want to say, wasn't Georgia State there? It was like two schools, but I know Valdosta State was one of them. And I literally went out, and it was either on Twitter or Facebook, and I said, look, it needs to be known that Valdosta State is not an HBCU. And that really just rubbed. I'm like, why was it necessary to invite them? Whose idea was that?
I don't.
That really, excuse the expression, that really pissed me off when I saw that. You know,
I'm gonna say this. I am tired of, because there's not enough backlash, you think that it's okay to do things.
Yeah.
And you think that that doing it the next time things like when there was an HBCU publication a couple of years ago that was writing an article about Deion Sanders and his interest in going to Colorado before he decided to go to Colorado. And the article said Jacksonville State head coach Deion Sanders. This is an HBCU publication. Everybody got in their mentions. Everybody, no, it wasn't an HBCU publication. It was a black magazine. I forget the name of the magazine, but it's like at some point have some respect. It's not even saying that you have to kiss the ring and acknowledge HBCUs. Like, if you're not going to give us our proper credit, don't mention us at all. We're not telling you that you have to do something. We're saying that if you're going to give us any kind of coverage, any kind of recognition, don't do it half-ass and think that it's okay and that we're just going to accept that. We don't need your coverage if you're just going to half-step it. Mm-hmm. Like, stop being disrespect. It's the blatant disrespect. Talking about you own HBCUs. Do you know how that sounds? Do you know how that sounds? Even if you
come from Valdosta State,
yeah.
Even if you had success against us on the football field, let me clear up Stephen Gaither's thing, and I don't want to speak for Stephen Gaither, but I assume when he says that, it's out of respect.
Yeah.
And I can understand that you probably trash talking, saying that, oh, you've beaten HBCUs. That's fine. But saying you own us, you gotta understand the negative connotation that comes with that. Come on, bro. Have some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? What's the term I'm looking for?
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness. Have some kind of self-awareness. Come on, man. Like, I don't like that. How people treat us like some little kids in need of charity, and that they can do any old thing, and that we just gonna sit there and be like, yep. At least they said something about us. No, we're not gonna do that. Do it right or don't do it at all.
And that's why we do this, really, because we can't. I mean, none of us. I mean, we would be out of jobs if we called Jackson State Jacksonville State. Or I'll never forget. This was so long ago when Darnarian McCants, former Hornet, was drafted by the Washington. Well, we'll call them the Commanders out of respect, for our indigenous friends. They were another name then, but he caught a touchdown pass in a preseason game. And Mike Patrick called that man D'Artagnan McCants from Delta State.
Wow.
And I was like, and of course we in the dorm rooms, we watching this, we waiting for our names to be, we waiting for to hear Delaware State. We just looked around like, did he just say that? Did he just say Delta State? What? And that's why what we do is so important, because we got to, if no one else is going to put respect on HBCUs, man, we got to do it, and we got to do it right. So, like Jared said, whoever that outlet was that called Jackson State Jacksonville State, shame on them. Valdosta State alumni talking about ownership from that part of Georgia, which is egregious on its own face. Shame on y'all. Just be better, people. Bottom line, be better.
And another thing I want to get off my chest, and it's been on my mind so much, and I've talked about this for so long. I am tired of watching an ESPN Plus game, and they put up a graphic where they're talking about the games coming up in the upcoming weeks and stuff, and they have the wrong graphics for certain teams. I'm so tired of that. Or they have wrong information on their graphics. And learn how to say our team's names, please. Like, that's basic stuff. You think that just because we're on your network, we're just gonna not gonna say anything about the mistakes that you're making? You are one of, if not the most respected sports network in the world. You're supposed to have knowledge about everything. And these are our announcers.
Yeah.
These are our announcers that are supposed to be broadcasting these games. And even during the Division II playoffs, when you have the road commentators talking about our players. I can't count how many times the dude last week from Lenore Ryan that called Jada Byers Jada Bowers. Jada Byers' name is spelled Byers. Where do you get Bowers from that?
Oh, boy.
Where is the OW in that man's name for you to call him Byers? It is Bowers, and his name is Byers. Learn how to say our team's names, learn how to say our players' names, and learn what graphics logos belong to what school. That is basic stuff. Imagine if they had let's just say, for example, Alabama's a graphic of Alabama, and they put a T as their logo. All of Alabama will be on their neck, and they will change that immediately. But they don't do that for us because there's not enough of us to raise hell and tell them you need to do better. Get it right or don't do it at all.
Well, it's kind of like how when the Griot kind of like cut out the last minute of the what was that game, Jared?
It was
the Clark Atlanta game.
Yeah.
Clark Atlanta and
hey,
shoot,
there was no outrage. Like you guys said, nobody was outraged by it.
It was literally 2 people on Twitter who were upset.
Me and Slot, me and Slot, a sports guy. We were the only 2. We were like, "What the?" It was unbelievable.
So check it out. Unless there are a lot of people in the chat right now, and I put the link in because if any of you J State folks want to take a moment to come on and say what you want to say about being the 2024 SWAC football champions, by all means, feel free to come in. We're kind of taking calls, if you will. Click on the link. You don't have to show your face, and we'll give you a little latitude to say what you got to say.
I want to get into something right quick though, Ken. A lot of people in the chat are talking about like how Valdosta State is at a disadvantage because they have only a couple of days to prepare for the Celebration Bowl, while South Carolina State's got a whole month. And we saw today in today's game, Valdosta State had some players who left the game injured.
Look,
obviously some guys banged up after this game too, maybe some minor injuries. So how do we feel about this? Like, is Valdosta State really at a disadvantage by having only a week to prepare while their opponent got a month?
Don't get me started on this, Kendrick, because I made a video about this. I was very adamant about this. And some of y'all clown me saying that, yeah, you just been making built-in excuses. And now we finally see what's happening here. Put like this, and I don't want to speak for Charles McClellan, but he even alluded to it. He's not a coach, but it is up to him to do whatever is necessary to operate within the best interest of the membership. And, but there were some knuckleheads out there who had the audacity. Well, I was going to say something. I'm gonna keep it above board here. But there were some very uninformed individuals who had the audacity to say, well, that's what happens when you don't own the event. And my thing is, it doesn't really matter. The Celebration Bowl, for all intents and purposes, is become, the de facto HBCU national champion, especially at the D1 level. That's a big deal. So much so, and I could be mistaken, but these coaches now are getting bonuses for winning the damn Celebration Bowl. It's in the contract. It's a big deal. And all I ever said was, okay, the SWAC had accepted the idea that prior to this year, we got 2 weeks to prepare, knowing that the MEAC and whoever the MEAC representative would have sometimes 3 or even 4 weeks to prepare for that game. But we're like, okay, 2 weeks, that's fine. Because some coaches, they would say, well, sometimes it could be problematic to have a team out too long and you have to deal with rust. I'm like, okay, but at the same time, that 2 week is fine. So that if that 2 week rest is fine, so that if you have some nicks and bruises and some minor injuries, you've got 2 weeks to heal, so that when it's time to prepare, or when game day is there, key players on your squad if they're not 100%, at least they've had a little bit of time to rest or to heal. But that ain't the case now. This is exactly what I was afraid of when you look, and John Grant and I have since talked. Because I basically kind of said, look, man, John, look, I understand that you're the executive director, and I understand that this event is owned by ESPN. But come on, man, you could have pushed a little harder for this, And I look, and so here are the reasons that we're given, and I understand this is a very difficult thing to do. I understand that. Look, the college playoff is going to, because of the money involved, that's the priority. I get all that. I understand that because they play in that venue, and apparently around that time, the Georgia State football high school playoff, that's a big deal. And whatever dates were, was like, because people were saying, hey, we can play this maybe on a Wednesday or a Thursday. I personally probably would have kind of gone for that. And, but it wouldn't have been on the weekend, but maybe we can have it on a Thursday or Friday. Well, that's not possible because, the Georgia high school football playoffs, they use that venue. Okay, I get all that. And they couldn't make it happen. And I guess my thing is that given what we know right now, and look, we can't say, we don't know what the outcome is going to be. But the very thing that we're talking about right now was the thing that I was concerned with then, with respect to Jackson State being as close to 100% as you would hope, as you would like them to be. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case now because they've only got, I guess, less than a week to prepare. So it really sucks, man. It really does.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, as a MEAC guy, I've always felt that we did have an unfair advantage, to be quite honest with you, especially once we dropped down to 6 teams, because we knew 3 weeks ago that South Carolina State was actually a month ago that South Carolina State was going to end up winning the MEAC. Like it was a foregone conclusion by that point. We were still trying to figure out who was going to win the SWAC East and the SWAC West at that particular time. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, hands are tied because I'm fading again.
No, you go ahead.
Or was my Wi-Fi is Xfinity acting up?
It's sorry. Go ahead.
Either one of the two. But yes, this goes back to the greed of the power fours, basically. Because do you really need a 12-team playoff? No, you don't. Do you really need a whole entire month of college football to decide your official national champion after the AP and UPI polls were good enough for a century? No, you don't. It's just greed. And everybody, and the trickle down effect is that everyone else suffers. Because now that they've had to move the Celebration Bowl a week back, I mean, Jackson State literally has to figure out who can go by the time they get to Atlanta. I guess they'll probably get to Atlanta like Thursday or so.
Probably Thursday, yeah.
Yeah.
And just so you know, and that's the other thing about. So look, man, when I tell you this is a true bowl game, there's going to be a lot of fun to be had. I will say this, and I've been there a few times beforehand. They're going to roll out the red carpet for those players. It's going to be an experience without question. Mm-hmm. But still, the game is the game. Real quick, we got somebody who wants, I guess, has a comment. This is JSU Fred. What's up, man?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, yep. We got you.
It's kind of echoing right now. Hey, I just got some comments on the game, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm kind of delayed, y'all.
No, well, okay. We can hear you fine. So just fight through it. Say what you got to say.
Okay. So my thing is, first off, I want to say, hey, I played football my entire life. I want to say shouts out to the Southern football team. It's a tough loss. SWAC championship. Congratulations to the Jackson State Tigers. We did what nobody thought we would do this year. We're going to the MEAC. We're going to Atlanta to win the Celebration Bowl this year. JSU by 40. That's all I got, y'all.
And then walked
I
off.
think that's the only reason why he called it. Just
Walked off.
Well, I mean,
I respect it.
He got his point across. You got to respect it. I mean, Yeah, just coming back to the point that this is where we are right now. I mean, we're all suffering at the hands of the greed of the power fours, because there's no way that anybody convinced me that anybody's going to give a damn about Boise State versus, whoever they draw in the first round of playoffs. I don't know who it's going to be, because I have not paid attention to major college football in years, because I just really don't care, because it just doesn't do it for me. Because I mean, we know that these programs are going to get the rub that our schools desperately need but never will get, because of course we're HBCUs. But it just sucks that now everybody has to suffer for the Power 5 thing. And I guess that's probably why the MEAC is trying to expand, because when I talked to Commissioner Sonia Stills before the start of the season, she said that a conference championship game was something that was being discussed by different presidents and ADs. So they may be trying to work on it. The only thing is, which HBCUs at a D2 level are you going to entice to move up? I mean, there was the rumor that Morehouse was coming. That has kind of stalled. People have been begging for Virginia Union and Virginia State. I mean, Virginia Union and Virginia State and Bowie, but Fayetteville State, excuse me. And yes, but those schools at the same time, they understand the realities of their bank accounts. I mean, you can't just ask teams that have been Division II for 50 years to come up and say, oh, you guys are going to have to make this multi-million-dollar investment. Because I mean, now what people don't understand is that now, if you want to move up to Division I from Division II, now the cost has increased. It used to be $4 million. Now I think it's like somewhere in the neighborhood of 20.
It's like, is it that much?
Yeah.
So where are these schools going to get 5 times the allocation to move up just to be in the game? And we're not even talking about making money and being a solvent Division I program. We talking about that's just what it costs to get in the game. We're not talking about what it takes to stay in the game and compete.
So all I will say is this. This goes to a point again. I keep going back to that video when I went off about when the decision was made about moving the Celebration Bowl to where it is going to be played this year. I want you guys to look at all of the upcoming bowl games, because I said this. I guarantee you, whether it be the Camilla Bowl, the Smack Your Mama on the Ass Bowl, whatever kind of bowl game it is, I don't know.
Excuse me.
Whatever kind of bowl game it is.
There is a Grunt Bowl, by the way, but
what?
not too far off. There's a bowl game named after Rob Gronkowski.
Okay, whatever. I think wasn't there? I want to say wasn't there a Jimmy Kimmel Bowl?
Yes.
What?
Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. Yes.
In LA. Yeah, there was a Jimmy
all
Kimmel
the
Bowl.
celebrities.
It was called the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl last year, played at SoFi Stadium. So anyway, my point is that
can we get a Megan Thee Stallion Bowl at least? Oh, go on.
Why not just get a Macaulay Culkin Bowl? Let's just give everybody who's a white person that was famous, give them all a bowl.
My point is this: every single one of those bowl games are gonna be played against, are gonna be played with teams who had at least a week off to play. All of these teams that are playing right now, this is Championship Saturday. And chances are, whether they won or whether or not they win or lose their conference championship, everybody, with the exception of Jackson State, is going to have at least 1 week to prepare, or 2 weeks to prepare for that bowl game. Even with the FCS championship game, once we get to the semifinal rounds and we find out who those 2 final teams are going to be, it's going to probably be about 2 weeks before they even play the final game. Jackson State will be the only team in this postseason, given what's on the line, that will be the only team that played the week before in a major championship game or a major bowl game, or not even major game, just a bowl game period. Jackson State will be the only team that didn't play the week before. I guarantee it. So, we can't say win or lose. I get it. The coaches won't say it, but they won't say, we're not going to make any excuses, but damn it, Charles McClellan said it, and we all know it. Preparation matters. It does. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I look, man, I don't like it, but I will just say this, man. J-State, man, congratulations. I won't. What's up, brother? How you doing? Blossom, who is this? Ma'am, sir?
I don't think we added him on the stage.
Burnett Lawson calling from Jackson.
Yes, sir. What? Okay.
Oh, he went away.
He went away. All right. Well, gentlemen, it is it was a good day, right? Kendrick?
Oh, it was a great day. It was a wonderful day with a capital W for me.
He put some aristocratic air on that. It was a wonderful day.
It's a wonderful day. Yes, it was.
Well, look,
it was the year of the Tiger this time.
Once again, Jackson State beats Southern 41-13. Jackson State is the 2024 SWAC champion, and will be heading to Atlanta next Saturday to face South Carolina State of the MEAC, a team that hasn't played in at least, 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3.
November 23rd was the last game.
By the time they play, would have been 3 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations, Jackson State. We're going to end it here. For Jared Hoffman, Chris Stevens, Kendrick Marshall, I'm Ken Rashad. Thank you all for taking a few minutes to watch this stream. If you would, make sure you go to hbcusports.com/donate, donate to the program and help us, the operation. If you would, become a level 1 and level 2 subscriber by joining and becoming a member of our HBCU Sports YouTube channel. Until next time, God bless you and be safe.